Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my channel Know and Lead. The basic purpose of creation of this channel is to provide legal and general knowledge to the public and students, especially those students who prepare for different competitive exams. Hope you will like my videos and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So let's get started. Today's topic is succession certificate. What is a succession certificate? A document through which the disposition of deceased property is made is called succession certificate. Meaning of succession certificate: a certificate granted by a competent court to collect the debts and securities of the deceased, as also to receive interests or dividends on, and to negotiate or transfer securities. Why succession certificate is required? When a person dies, succession certificate is required in order to transfer property of deceased person to his legal heirs, such as bank accounts, insurance, amount, stocks, bonds, shares, etc. It is required for getting possession of money in the bank, shares, insurance amount, stocks, bonds, etc. A succession certificate is required under Succession Act 1925. Legal provisions. Section 370 to 390 of the Succession Act governs all the procedure related with succession certificate. Object of succession certificate. The object of succession certificate is to provide speedy remedy and quick decision in succession matters, so that legal heirs of deceased may have their share in movable assets ascertained, allocated, and disbursed, as there may be a needy family requiring immediate disbursement of amount to meet its merging and day-to-day needs of life. Requirements for getting succession certificate: certified death certificate of the deceased, detail of subject assets, family registration certificate FRC from NADRA, computerized national identity card of the legal heirs filing the application, and to furnish requisite surety. Who can apply for succession certificate? Following persons can apply for the succession certificate: any sound-minded person, person who has attained the age of majority, any person who has interest in the estate of deceased, Secretary of State, any person who has beneficial interest in debt or security of the deceased person. Where to apply? It should be filed in the civil court of the area where deceased person was residing. If deceased person's permanent residence is not clear, or he used to live at different places, then the application should be filed in court where property of deceased situated. After amendment in law, person authorized by law can obtain succession certificate from NADRA. Application for succession certificate. Application for succession certificate can be filed in court in two ways. First way is that legal heir can file application in the court with the consent of other legal heirs. During proceedings, all legal heirs record their statements in favor of that one legal heir that they do not have any objection to the issuance of succession certificate to that one legal heir. Court in this scenario decides the application in favor of one legal heir, who afterwards distributes the property among other heirs. Second method to obtain succession certificate is that all legal heirs apply for succession certificate and court issues certificate to all of them according to their share. Procedure of court. After filing of application, court issues orders to publish the case in newspapers, that if there are any other claimant of property of deceased, they come and contest the case. If no one appears before court after publication in newspapers, then succession certificate is issued to the applicant. If someone appears before court as legal heir of deceased, then court decides the matter after evidence. Purpose of getting succession certificate. The basic purpose of seeking a succession certificate by a family member is to withdraw the amount of money left by the deceased with the banks, recover borrowed monies of the deceased person, recover insurance claims if any, or any other similar investment in any of the savings, either in the bank account or financial schemes. Time limit for applying succession certificate. There is no time limit for applying to a court for issuance of succession certificate. Can succession certificate be revoked? Succession certificate granted can be revoked if the proceedings to obtain certificate were defective, that the certificate was obtained fraudulently by making of a false suggestion or by the concealment from the court of something material to the case, that the certificate was obtained by means of untrue allegation of a fact essential in point of law to justify the grant thereof, though such allegation was made in ignorance or inadvertently, that the certificate has become useless and inoperative through circumstances, or that a decree or order made by a competent court in a suit or other proceeding with respect to effects comprising debts or securities specified in the certificate renders improper that the certificate should be revoked. How legal heirs can get shares from company. After obtaining a succession certificate, legal heirs will apply to the company who held shares of the deceased with following documents: a request letter for transmission of shares, copy of succession certificate, copy of death certificate, shares certificate in original, computerized national identity card, and other requisite information demanded by said company for transmission of shares. Can widow get succession certificate? Widow can obtain the succession certificate by filing application in competent court, and if deceased left minor children, then widow can file application as their natural guardian. Succession certificate from NADRA. Letters of Administration and Succession Certificate Acts 2019. NADRA has a citizen database, and there is no real dispute amongst the legal heirs. Each may, after inviting public objections in newspapers, issue letters of administration and succession certificates without the need of approaching courts. This law will also prevent fraudulent practice where there is no facility to swear affidavits through a biometric NADRA facility. The mechanism envisaged in the statute shall considerably reduce the burden on the courts. It shall extend to the whole of Islamabad Capital Territory. Functions of the Succession Facilitation Unit. Receive applications for grant of letters of administration and succession certificates, as the case may be, from legal heirs of the deceased. Process and assess the applications by way of a summary inquiry as prescribed, and in case of any factual controversy amongst the legal heirs, decline to access the applications for filing afresh before the appropriate forum in accordance with the provisions of Succession Act 1925 or any other applicable law. Maintain an online portal providing for updated record of the letters of administration and succession certificates issued under this Act, and discharge or perform such functions as are incidental, ancillary, or necessary for carrying out the purposes of this Act. Issuance of Succession Certificate. Succession Facilitation Unit established under this Act may issue the succession certificate to legal heirs of a deceased in respect of immovable in accordance with a family registration certificate maintained by the authority. Documents required for issuance of succession certificates. The following documents shall be appended along with the application: death certificate of the deceased, list of the legal heirs and copies of their national identity cards, and authorization in the prescribed form by the legal heirs in favor of the applicant, details of immovable in respect of which the letter of succession certificate is applied for. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel for latest videos.